it's just fundamental to our faith that we are committed to doing something about justice.
Sustainable change takes time, and the fact that you've made a commitment for life carries us forward into the future.
It's being able to do something and live out, put God's love into action.
Over the past 20 years, Commitment for Life has raised millions of pounds, and in the process improved the lives of thousands of people across the globe. That's a fact. And it's a fact of which the United Reformed Church can be very proud. This is our faith in action.
For many years, churches had raised money for the 1% appeal, and it was felt that perhaps this money people needed to understand where the money was being used. And so the Reverend Peter Brain, who was then Secretary for Church Society, got together with Christian Aid and thought about how they could, so the churches could learn more about those countries. And so they came up with Commitment for Life. They were quite pleased with the name. It was the idea of churches had a commitment for life. In other words, it was a long-term development for the churches, but also it was giving life to people as well. And it was decided to have 4 countries across the globe to particularly concentrate on, and people would get updates and materials and posters about those countries, so they would be educated on the issues and the way that the Christian Aid partners worked. There's about 1,500 churches within the United Reformed Church, and of those 42% are part of the scheme. And we really would love it if we could really increase that number. It would be great, wouldn't it, to up the number to 70, 80%. I mean, I'd love 100% really, to be part of what we stand for, the issues and the justice, taking God's love into action. Last year we raised over £500,000, and we've been doing that certainly for the last 10 years and beyond that. So we have in fact raised millions of pounds that have been able to be used by Christian Aid and the World Development Movement in their fight against poverty. The money that's raised goes to the 4 partner countries, divided equally amongst them. We have Zimbabwe, Israel, Palestine, we have Bangladesh, and we have Jamaica. And that works very well because it's a broad spread and it covers a wide range of issues too.
Drought and a ruined infrastructure mean millions of people in Zimbabwe can't grow enough food to survive. In the dry south of the country, Christian Aid's partners help build the capacities of communities who live in drought conditions. Farmers are taught to use conservation techniques which help them grow food on small plots of land, using their limited natural resources. In this way, the issue of food security is being addressed.
My name is Violet Moyo. I live in Zimbabwe. I'm a mother to an 18-year-old girl and I'm married. I work for Zimbabwe Project Trust, a partner to Christian Aid. We believe that if you employ a technique called conservation farming, which utilizes the minimum available water and also restores the soil fertility, the farmers can harvest more in a small area, and Zimbabwe will not depend on food aid again.
Well, I always say to people, you know, when they're managing, let's say, their household budget, how do they manage if they can't plan ahead? How do any of us manage if we can't plan ahead? And if what we're relying on is people's loose change in their pockets, then how do people manage in that situation? So it's about commitment to longer term and understanding people's need to be able to feel secure.
The failure to find a lasting solution to the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians is causing poverty to deepen. Christian Aid works with more than 20 Israeli and Palestinian organisations to protect human rights and improve access to services and resources. Partners support farmers and the empowerment of women, and the Culture and Free Thought Association in Gaza provides support to children growing up in conflict. One advocacy project run by children is aimed at helping other children.
ورسالتنا كفوا عن عمل عمالة الأطفال، كفوا عن عمالة الأطفال، كفوا عن عمالة الأطفال. كنت مشترك في دورة الأنيميشن
اللي هي رسوم متحركة، كانت آلية ضغط ومناصرة، وعملنا فيها فيلمين عن عمالة الأطفال، وكانت يعني عرضناها للأطفال وللأهالي عشان ياخذوا منها العبرة وما يشتغلوش، والأهالي يمنعوا أطفالهم من أنهم يشتغلوا.
ضمت إلى مشروعنا كمناصرة في مشروعنا، وأيضا من خلال ضغطنا المستمر على وزارة العمل، ومن خلال مقابلتنا مع وزير العمل تم تفعيل القانون في تاريخ 1/5/2011.
Supporting Commitment for Life for me personally has been a huge journey. You hear about the issues of global injustice day by day, but sometimes it's very hard to see beyond that and actually learn about the people, the individuals, and the reality of people's lives throughout the world. So for me personally, it has meant that I've been able to get behind the headlines, get behind the perhaps even scaremongering, and find out how lives are affected by issues of injustice.
It may be a popular tourist destination, but Jamaica is an island with high levels of inequality. Violence, unemployment, lack of access to essential services, and HIV/AIDS make it difficult for the poorest to pull themselves out of poverty. Christian Aid has partnered Jamaica AIDS Support for Life to provide care for people living with HIV/AIDS and run projects with young people to educate and raise awareness. The project uses dance and drama to pass on important messages and finds ways to help poor people get the money to pay for medication. A current Christian Aid partner, WROC, the Women's Resource Outreach Centre, works in one of the poorest parishes in the country, offering farmers, especially women, the opportunity to make a living and even start up new businesses. URC intern in 2011, Caris Unsworth, went to see for herself what the Commitment for Life partners were doing in Bangladesh.
I think that the work that Commitment for Life are doing there is amazing. They're really giving people confidence and the ability to help themselves. We visited 2 partners, CCDB and Shushilan, and one project was Eco Demo Farms, which is basically using the saline water, the seawater that's affecting the communities, and making it helpful. When the area floods, seawater comes in and the saline in the water destroys the soil and it makes it unusable to grow crops, basically. The work Shushilan is doing means that people will be able to grow crops in those fields. I guess I learned there's a lot more than just going to a country and saying, oh, you need a well, I'm going to build it, and stuff I didn't really realise before I started. That it's more important to talk to the people and find out what they need rather than just giving them what you think they may need.
Commitment for Life actually means an awful lot to me. It was, when I first got involved, I found that it was a way that I could express my faith in a practical way. I think I'd struggled for many years with a faith that perhaps was more cerebral, and I'm a very practical person. And the minute I got involved initially with Christian Aid and then with Commitment for Life, suddenly everything slipped into place. I could see that this was what I was called to do, if I really wanted to put it like that. They're putting your faith into action, that's how I can describe it. It's being able to do something and live out, put God's love into action.
To me, Commitment for Life is a great way to help developing countries, but also to know what's going on, to be involved, to find stories, and to actually work with another community to get together and to help people.
It's a bit of a sort of throwaway line to say there's more in the Bible about justice than there is about church, but it's nevertheless true, and Commitment for Life is about justice. And all those other things that in a sense go around justice, like peace and combating hunger and things of that sort. It's just fundamental to our faith that we are committed to doing something about justice, Commitment for Life is about justice, bottom line.
On behalf of Christian Aid, the partner organisations that Commitment for Life funds, and most importantly the communities that this money reaches, I'd like to say a very big thank you to the United Reformed Church for this Commitment for Life programme and a remarkable 20-year commitment. And I'd like to say, let's go for the next 20 years. There's much more to be done. Sustainable change takes time, and the fact that you've made a commitment for life carries us forward into the future, and look forward to working with you in the next stages.